Hey y'all, this part of the video is filmed on a different day than the rest of the video because I wanted to tell you guys that my Halloween merch is finally out and I'm so fucking excited for it. This is the design Jazzbart's created for me. He creates all of my merch and it's incredible every single fucking time. I also took my regular cjades logo and I put little bats on it because I thought that would be cute. So there's like a cjades bats hoodie as well. Well, there's like hoodies, t-shirts, crew necks, and there's actually full zips now. So there's full zip sweaters, jackets, full zip jackets. I don't have any of it myself yet. I just ordered my stuff yesterday and then I ordered like the bats hoodie for myself a couple weeks ago, and so that's going to be here in a couple of days. But I'm so excited and I just wanted to announce it. I wanted to let you guys know. But that's it. I promise I'm done rambling. I will have the link in my bio if you want to purchase anything. I won't take anything down for a long time, so you don't feel rushed to get anything. I know it's Halloween merch, but I probably won't take it down until well after Halloween, so there's no rush by any means. I'm just really excited about it. But now let's get into the actual video. Hey y'all, I am back and I have more paranormal stories that I am very scared to read today. I feel like I've had a ridiculous amount of you ask me to film one of these videos, and it hasn't been that long, but I guess you guys are just really fiending for some paranormal stories, so I have a couple from the subreddit that I'm gonna read. I also don't know if the subreddit is broken or not because I'm seeing stories posted, so I don't think it's broken. I guess a couple of you are having trouble posting on it, and honestly, I have no idea why. But there are some people who are able to post on it, so I took stories from the subreddit. And look, I made my bed today. I made it all pretty and beautiful for you. I also have my little twinkle lights on, but you can't see them, so that was pretty much pointless. I also turned my fan off so that I could film without the noise, and it's really, really, really hot. It was a bad idea. I'm gonna turn it back on. If you hear a whoosh, 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 whoosh sound, then that's my fan, and I don't feel bad because I'm gonna die of heat stroke. I've already been to the hospital once in the last week. I don't need to go again. But let's get right into the stories. So the first story says, I can't explain this. Hi Courtney, I love watching your videos about this stuff, so I thought I would share my story. It might be kind of long because it's a few stories in one, and I'm very sorry if it's all over the place. I tried writing this before and I had to get ready for work. When I was in the second grade, we moved to a different house. The current one I still live in. I'm gonna lean on my bed, so I'm gonna scooch over a little bit. It was very exciting at first, but things got kind of weird a few years into us being here. I used to share a room with my little sister. We had bunks, and I would always be on the top bunk while she slept on the bottom. I always had trouble sleeping, or when I'd fall asleep, I would wake up just randomly, then go back to bed a little while later. One night, I was just laying in bed watching TV when I got an odd feeling. I was very uneasy, so I kind of sat up and looked around. My closet was diagonal from where I was laying. I had the urge to look at the closet. It's always had a creepy vibe to me. So I was staring at it. I then saw a very, very clear face in my closet. It was almost a white-gray color, and it looked like a woman, but she had a very ominous smile. I freaked out, but I was frozen. I couldn't move. It disappeared as soon as it showed up, but it's something I can still see if I think about it. I hate when you guys describe like a white ominous face because it reminds me of the face that I saw in my kitchen window a couple years ago, and I have a very vivid picture of that and I don't like it. I told my mom, but she kind of dismissed it as my imagination and my mind messing with me because I'm a kid. I never saw it again after that, but that isn't all of my stories. My cousin came over one day to bring the movie Grown Ups 2. We all watched it because it just came out and we hadn't watched it yet. During the movie, we were about halfway through it, we hear this huge crash and we all look at each other. It came from the bathroom. My dad paused the movie. We all got up and looked at what it could have been. The cabinet was open, a bunch of things fell out of it. Things in the shower fell off their little shelves. It was terrifying. I was still pretty young, so it scared the crap out of me. After that, I had a constant uneasy feeling about the house. A couple years passed and I wanted out of the room I was sharing with my sister. I eventually moved into the basement. There was a little room in the back of the basement that had a bed frame in there and everything, so we used that when I moved into the room. Well, the basement creeps me out to this day, and I'm 17 years old. I'll be 18 in a couple months. I always look into the back room that has our washer and dryer in it as I walk by it, and I feel kind of nervous as I pass it. Every time I do laundry, I have that panicky feeling like something will happen, so I hurry up. I used to have that feeling all the time in my basement. So we used to have a cabin in Flagstaff, and I think I've talked about this before. Flagstaff is just up north in Arizona, but we used to have a cabin that we would go to almost every single weekend, and we would stay there during like winter holidays because it snows up there. And every time we were in our basement, all of my siblings felt this way. We felt like it was haunted or there was something down there. And whenever I was going up the stairs, I would sprint. Like, I would be on all fucking fours sprinting up these stairs because I thought something was going to be chasing after me. It was the creepiest basement. And I guess it wasn't like a basement, it wasn't underground, But if you guys have ever been to Flagstaff, it is very, very dark outside. Like, I think it's one of the darkest places on earth. I'm almost pretty sure. And so when you were down there, there were windows and doors all around. There were like 3 sliding doors just in the basement alone in like a little like living room area. And so you could see directly outside and it's just pitch black forest. Oh my God, it was so scary, especially when we were younger. And I don't think it would help that we would watch ghost stories constantly down in that basement, like in a little room, a little dark room. We would watch these like real life ghost stories, and I'm pretty sure that freaked us out even more, but I would sprint up the stairs on all 4s because I felt that panicky feeling like something was gonna happen if I didn't run. Nothing has happened yet, thankfully, back there, but that still doesn't get rid of that feeling of nervousness. In my room, I have a feeling of being watched all the time, and it's always from one corner. I was trying to sleep, and I rolled over on my back because I was getting that nervous feeling once again. I looked at the end of the bed, and I see this tall, dark figure at the end of my bed, just looking at me. My heart leaped out of my chest. I ran out of my room and slept on the couch upstairs that night. That wasn't very long ago either. The past few months, I've heard scratching on my ceiling, and it's always at night. It scares me, but I've gotten used to it where I can ignore it, and sometimes even tell whatever is doing it to stop. And it does for a few minutes, then it starts up again, and I have to yell at it to stop. And when it does, I go to sleep. About a month ago, I was sleeping, and I was just waking up. My eyes were still shut, and I decided to open them to get up, and I saw that same face I saw years ago in my closet, right in front of me on my bed, laying with me. I have to sneeze really bad, but that freaks me out. I've never been so scared in my life. She had the same smile, same look, same color to her face, but this time she had a body. As to where the first time I saw her, it was only the face. My eyes are literally watering right now. I don't know if it's from the sneezes or from the stories, but my eyes are watering. I don't know if she's nice or not, but I don't want to find out. I haven't seen her since, but I'm still nervous to be in the basement when I go to sleep, and all of the lights are off everywhere. That's when my anxiety seems to be the worst. Edit. I forgot something earlier this week, and I had just woken up and I was watching YouTube on my phone, and I went to fix my blanket. I saw a handprint on my blanket, and it couldn't have been mine. It was a whole lot bigger than my hand, and I couldn't have possibly turned my hand that way because I hadn't even touched my blanket. I don't know where it came from, and frankly, I don't want to know. Well, we're off to a great start. This next story says, the night I unleashed a demon into my home. It started 7 months ago when me and my group of friends decided to play around with the spiritual world. We were at my house one day having a giant sleepover in my room. My mom was a non-believer in the spiritual world, so whenever we could research or talk about it, she would get mad and walk out of my room or go outside on the porch. I wonder why she got mad about it. My grandma, however, was interested in it. She believed in it, and she had a Ouija board in her garage. She lives right across the street. I know where this is going. We talked and planned to go over there and get it so we could play tonight. We went to get the board for my grandma's. She didn't question us, so we went back to my room. We waited till dark to play, well, a bit dark, like sunset. When my mom was cooking dinner, I locked my door and we all gathered around in a circle getting ready to play with the board. When we took it out of the box, something off my shelf immediately fell. We shook it off and continued going. We took it out and I turned off my lights and turned on my lamp. We all placed our fingers on the planchette and circled it 3 times while we asked if there was somebody playing with us. After 5 seconds of no answer, it went over to yes. We all looked at each other and continued going. We asked its name and we're going to call it Alexis. It was a female. Then my friend Adriana started joking around saying, "This is dumb. It's probably just a fat old ghost that's bored and wanting to scare some teens." We all looked at her seriously. We ignored what she said and asked if the ghost was mad. It went to Z 6 times. Then we heard a knock, but it was only my mom telling me she had to go to the store to pick up ingredients. Oh, I would shit my pants though if my mom knocked on my door in the middle of that. I said okay and went back to the board. Here's where it gets intense. I heard my front door close downstairs, which told me my mom had left. Then following that, I heard noises coming from inside my closet. In the closet are bins and my clothes, obviously, and an attic space. We walked to my closet door and opened it. We didn't see anything, but my friend Lexi, she screamed loudly to the engraved markings on my closet door. It spelled, "Time's up." That wasn't there before. We all got scared and went back to the board to say goodbye because we were all uncomfortable. When we all went to place our hands onto the planchette, it flung off the board and hit my closet door. It circled the floor. I freaked out and grabbed the board. It felt heavier, like I almost dropped it when I picked it up. Then more stuff fell off my shelf and my blanket to my bed was ripped off. Dude, I don't know what I would do. Like, Kayla and I used the board so many times, and there were a lot of really weird things that happened while we used the board. But if the shit just started to go haywire in my bedroom, I don't know what I would do. I live in a suburban area, but behind me was the woods past my backyard. The first thing that popped into my mind was get rid of the board. I ran downstairs and my friends followed. I grabbed lighter fluid and matches, and when we got down there, I went to open the door, but the door flung open and my hanging plants on the back porch all fell to the ground, almost hitting me. I ran past it back into the woods where a bonfire was. I threw the board into the bonfire and spread the fluid all over it and threw a match in it, and at this time it was pitch black dark outside. We let it burn for 5 minutes as we were all huddled together. We said that it burned enough and I put the fire out. I looked at the board, which was upside down, and on the back was engraved, "Time's Up." I screamed and threw the board into the woods. It smacked a tree and we ran back to the house. We ran into my room and there was my shelf, knocked over, and my glass window was broken. We were petrified, so we called my mom and everybody got sent home. I slept in my mom's room that night and didn't sleep in my room for months. Bitch, I would never sleep in my room again. After that encounter, it got worse. Glass cups breaking in the middle of the night, my dog barking at nothing, and me seeing a woman standing at the edge of my mother's bed every night. I've already dropped my phone twice in this video, so I don't think I should drop it again, but I have to. I don't want to read anymore. It's almost done, but I don't want to read anymore. I even started having sleep paralysis, and 3 nights out of the week, that woman would be above me, breathing in my ear while lightly scratching her nails on my arm. I wake up to scratches there every night. That's my story. It's really intense and most people never believe it, but I hope you do, and it scarred me for life. None of my friends have been the same since I got my house cleansed and had a pastor perform an exorcism on the house. After that, everything changed, but never really stopped. It just didn't happen often. It only happened at certain times, like 3 a.m. or in my sleep. Now I have a therapist because my mom thinks it's better for me. She doesn't believe me, and neither does my friend's parents, but my grandma does. She's trying to help me figure out what's happening. Thank you for reading if you do. I hope you put this in a video. I'd love for my stories to be shared. If you want an update for that, I'll upload it. Please, if you have any more stories, you have to share it with us. Like, what the fuck? That was an intense one. I didn't like that one. Okay, and this is the last one we're gonna read. It says, "I'm not sure if I'm being followed by spirits or if they just find me wherever I am. I'm sorry in advance if this is super long. I've been having weird paranormal experiences since I was very little. One time when I was about 4 or so, I was asleep in a blanket fort in the living room that I had made. It was around dinner time, so my mom came to wake me up to come eat. I wasn't being super responsive, so she started lightly pushing me to try to get me to respond. I sat up slowly, looked at her, before saying in a deep, menacing voice, 'I don't like it.' My mom freaked the fuck out and left as fast as she could. Another time, I was at a friend's sleepover for her 10th birthday. She had a sleepover for her birthday every year, and we usually all slept in the living room as it was big enough to fit us all. But this time we slept in a bungalow as the guy who usually stayed there was on a holiday. I got a weird feeling from the moment I walked into the bungalow, but didn't say anything about it because I thought I was being paranoid. The bungalow had a small kitchen and dining room/living room area, a bathroom, and 1 bedroom. The bathroom had 2 doors, one into the bedroom and one into the hallway. At one point during the night, we were all dancing in the bedroom. I had my back facing the door in the bathroom, and I felt like I was being watched, so I turned around to see the door open slowly. I thought it was weird, but I turned around and kept dancing when I felt a hand on my shoulder. What is with these stories? Oh my god! I looked behind me to see who it was, and freaked when I realized nobody was behind me and everyone at the party was in front of me. When we tried to sleep, I insisted that we lock the main door to the bungalow, which ended up being a bad idea because my friend's mom knocked on the door when she couldn't get in and spooked us. We were all scared after that and moved back into the living room in the main house. At one point during the night, a few of us needed to go to the bathroom, but we were too scared to go alone because the hallway was so dark and long, and the bathroom was a fair way down it, so we all decided to go together. We huddled together and looked into each of the rooms as we passed. We passed my friend's bedroom and saw a dark mass run from one side of her room to the other. We all freaked out and ran to the bathroom. They hadn't been broken into, and we also didn't hear any footsteps, so it definitely wasn't anyone in the house. I've lived in a lot of houses throughout my life, and a lot of them have felt pretty haunted, but I think this one takes the cake. The house I lived in when I was 13 to 16 was really scary. We would hear footsteps, feel cold spots, and see stuff occasionally too. One time I was home alone and in the kitchen with my back to the dining room, and I felt like I was being watched, so I turned around to see a dark mass standing by my mom's computer. It disappeared almost immediately, but it scared me pretty bad. Another time I was home alone again and was taking a bath. My cat Tinkerbell, that's fucking adorable, was staring at the door that connected the bathroom to my mom's bedroom. She started jumping at the door and I was scared she would scratch it, so I told her to stop, when I hear a fucking little kid laughing on the other side of the door. We had a bunch of weird stuff happen involving child spirits, and I'm just praying that they were actual children ghosts and not a demon. One time my mom was working from home and she heard me call out to her from my bedroom. She responded before realizing I was at school, and it was in fact not me calling her. I was pretty scared when she told me this. The final straw for me was when I started hearing knocking on my window at night. It was a one-story house and my room looked out to the backyard. Not long before we moved out, I started hearing knocking on my window around the same time every night. At first it was 4 knocks, the next night it was 3, almost like it was counting down to something. The next night I was at my grandmother's house, so when I got back home, the knocking went back up to 4 knocks. One night I was in my room talking to my mom with the curtains open and the knocking happened again and there was nobody outside. Fortunately nothing happened, but it was enough for me to want to move. Bitch, I would have wanted to move from the start of all of this. This post is getting pretty long, but I have one more story I want to tell you because it freaks me out. My friend's family owns an old church which has been converted into a very open plan holiday house. Everything is in one room except the bathroom. We used to go there at least once a year with 3 of my friends and their families for quite a few years. Almost everyone, if not everyone, who stayed there overnight has seen or heard some weird shit. One time I was on a motorbike with my dad riding around the property when I saw someone who wasn't anyone we knew standing by a tree. Another time, my friend's mom woke up to see a woman floating over her and looking down at her. Another time, my friends and I woke up to a knocking on the front door. Keep in mind this place is in the middle of nowhere and cars virtually never go past, so the chances of it being a living person are pretty slim. Our parents insisted it was a possum, but it sounded like knocking. Most recently, our friend who had never been before came to the church with us. We stayed the night, and the next morning she asked us if any of us had gotten up to go to the bathroom and come back and just stood there staring at where we were sleeping. A few of us had gotten up in the middle of the night, but none of us just stood there afterwards. She said she saw a man standing next to the fireplace just staring at us while we were sleeping, and after a while he just turned around and faded away. She described the man, and the guy she described sounded very similar to the man I had seen standing by the tree. I've just moved out of my home and into a share house for the first time. I'm nearly 19 now. And nothing weird has happened here yet, except my door occasionally opens by itself. That's weird. That's weird. It's a double door, but only one of them has a handle, so I only really use that one door and I leave the other one locked. It has a little thing that you push into the door frame to stop it from opening, but it seems to keep opening by itself whenever I leave the room. This could just come down to bad design though. I'm hoping nothing weird happens here. I've had a bunch of little experiences here and there, but these are the ones that come to mind first. I'm sorry this post is so long. Don't apologize. I can't with you guys though. I can't. I fucking can't. I feel like it's been a while since I've had 3 absolutely terrifying stories all in the same video, but all of these are traumatizing. I'm sorry that you had to go through this. I want to hear more. I want to hear more. But I don't know if I can handle hearing more because I'm a pussy. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have more stories that you would like to share with me or the community, I will have the subreddit linked down below. It should be working because it's working for some people, so I don't really know what the issue is. But if you're having any trouble using it, you can send the stories to my email, which I will also have down below. I'm gonna go hang out with my cats and sit in a corner scared for my life, but I love you guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye. I'm not kidding. 2 seconds after I was like, bye, this, oh my god. I know you can hear the airplane right now, but it was like a loud poof, and I'm like, oh my god, like I'm gonna die. Something is going to kill me right now. That's how paranoid I am at this very moment. But you know what's kind of crazy? I've had absolutely nothing happen at this house, like not one single thing, which actually is probably normal because no one's ever lived in this house before, but I just like assumed because it's me something would happen, and now that I said that, I'm scared that something is going to happen. But nothing's happened yet, so here's to not being haunted anymore. See ya!